What's up everybody, it's Debbie and I'm back with another video. If you are a returning subscriber, hey, what's up? Make sure to leave a comment down below so I know that you're watching. If you are new to my channel, welcome. I do all kinds of videos here, mainly finance, budgeting, basically just trying to get our lives together, especially for younger people or stay-at-home people that need to make extra money on the side. Today we're gonna talk about different money saving methods that you can implement into your lifestyle. So I am super excited. So I have 3 different points that we are going to talk about today, and I hope that this helps you or gives you some inspiration to kind of figure out a system that would work for you and your lifestyle for saving money. So my first topic is cash stuffing envelopes. If you guys haven't heard of this, I'm going to explain it in just a moment. I just want to say, if you're someone that finds cash harder to spend than swiping your debit card, this is probably the option for you, or number 3 might be the option for you. So just keep on listening. So if you are someone who gets paid in cash and you just find cash harder to spend, or maybe even if you're someone who gets direct deposit, you can still do this as well. The only thing is you would just have to go and withdraw that money. The great thing about cash stuffing envelopes is literally the only thing that you need is your cash, your envelopes, and something to put your envelopes in. I used a binder when I was doing this, and a binder worked just fine for me, but if there's something that you think might work better for you, then you can absolutely do what is going to work for you. You don't have to do any of these methods exactly how I say them. You're free to put your own spin on things and just kind of figure out what works for you. With this method, you're definitely going to need a budget. If you haven't already seen my how to make a budget video, I will attach it somewhere in this video, and then I will put it in the description box below as well. But you're going to need a budget because you're going to need to know how much to put in each envelope every single pay period. So you definitely need to make a budget first. And I will just start by saying, I'm not gonna go step by step, but I would start by saying you need to track your spending and your bills, and you need to see how you can work your paychecks out to be able to fit all of that in. So you're going to go back and look at all of your either pay statements or track your spending and figure out your budget. Once you have your budget figured out, you should know how much each bill is and what you average and other variable expenses as far as like gas and groceries and things like that. And once you have your budget figured out and you're ready to start stuffing your envelopes, basically what you're going to do is you're going to label every single envelope with that category's name, whether it's rent, gas, car insurance, car payment, whatever the case is, you would label that envelope with that specific category on it. And then it's optional, but you can even put an amount that you need to put in every month or every paycheck. That way you know. I personally didn't. I pretty much already knew how much I needed to put in, and I also, my income variated whenever I was doing this, so I also went based off of how much I could afford to put away for each thing off of my paycheck. So even if you get paid like bi-weekly, you can still divide it up into multiple paychecks, or you could take one paycheck and put it towards whatever bills you want to put it towards, like that are due in the first half of the month, and then put your second paycheck towards whatever is due at the end of the month. However you want to swing it, it doesn't have to be exactly, literally just whatever works for you. The point of this theory is to have that cash in your hand and be holding that cash and know how much you're spending, because it's like a mental thing. If you find cash harder to spend, then you're going to think twice about buying like a cup of Starbucks or something. For me personally, I do find cash harder to spend. I know some people think cash is easier to spend. They're like, oh, cash is like free money, no paper trail, blah, 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 blah. But for me, I find cash harder to spend because I can see that money going away. Whereas like my bank account, if I don't look, as far as I know, it's still there, like, you know? So that is it for the money stuffing. And then for my second category, I put digital savings. And this is pretty self-explanatory, and I think it's probably what like 90% of people do today, especially because most banking stuff, it's like all electronic now. But if you're someone that doesn't like carrying cash on you, then this is probably the category that you would want to do your savings for. Basically, all banks offer savings accounts whenever you open a checking account. If they don't, all you have to do is literally just ask them to open you up a savings account with your checking account. But most banks will automatically open up a savings account when you open up a checking account. And it's pretty self-explanatory. I mean, you just put your money in your account, and whenever you want to use the savings account, you would just move the money over to your savings account. If you're someone who gets paid in cash, you would just deposit the amount of money, however much you want to put in your checking and however much you want to put in your savings. The reason why I like the digital savings account now is because I have a lot of transactions that come into my bank account directly, so it's just easier for me than having to go and pull out that cash. I mean, I could still do it. I could go like once a week, like on Fridays, and go and pull out that cash, but for me, I just find it easier to just go ahead and have it in the bank account. However, I do split mine up. But the good thing about savings accounts is that some banks will even match the amount of money that you keep in your savings account. They'll have like a set percentage, and they'll kind of match that after a certain period of time of you having that money in your savings account, which I think it's really cool. And it can also help you reach your goals faster, a little bit faster. It's nothing crazy. Like for me personally, I have $1,000 in my savings account at the moment, and I just got a 7-cent divide-in for that. So obviously not a lot of money. 7 cents isn't a lot, but it does add up over the years. So the more that you save, the more that the bank will also help you gain more money as well. So since a lot of my income is electronic, and I do sell feet pictures, so I get a lot of small deposits throughout the day. So I just personally find it easier to do it all digitally. And even if you get paid in cash, you can deposit it in there just the same. So even if you don't get paid electronically, you can still do this with cash. You would just have to go and deposit the money into your bank account. So for me personally, I have 2 bank accounts, and well, technically I have three bank accounts with 2 different banks. And the first bank that I only have a checking account open with them. I do not have a savings account open with them. And basically what I do is I have all of my money deposit into that account. So that way when I'm budgeting and everything, it's easier to see how much came in versus how much went out by looking at my bank statements from that specific bank. So all of my income goes into that account. And then if I want to switch money over into my other account, I would then get cash out of that bank account, and I would move it to the other bank. Now at my other bank, I have 2 bank accounts. I have 2 accounts over there. I have a checking and I have a savings. So with the first bank, we're going to go back to the first bank. With the first bank that I have all of my checks and everything deposited into, I use that account for all of my bills that I need to pay and all of my spending. So that is my regular spending card. I swipe everything with that card. The other bank account that I have with my checking and my savings account is basically like a emergency bank account for me, for the most part. So I have a savings account open with them, and I deposit all of my savings, all my money that I want to save, whatever goals I have, whatever it is that I'm saving for, I put in that savings account and I leave it there. I do not touch it. Now, the checking account at that bank, I also will put a little bit extra money into that account every so often, and then that's basically just like my emergency buffer. So if for some reason something happens, maybe I overspend, maybe I have an unexpected expense that comes in, whatever the case is, I have extra money in that other checking account. So if I need to swipe that card, I'm able to do so. So I don't have to pull from the savings still, but I don't use it for regular spending. And to be honest, I haven't ever had to swipe that card, which is great. So all I've used it for is depositing money. So I have about $1,500 in that account at the moment. My regular spending account, I have $600 in at the moment as well. So I would use the account with $600 to pay my bills and everything, and the account that has $1,000 in my savings and $500 in my checking is my emergency card. So if I need to have extra cash and fall back on that, I have that option as well. So that's just what I do. For me personally, that's what works for me. But if you think that there's a better system that'll work for you, by all means, implement that, tweak it so that it will fit you. And then the third category that I have is what I like to call hybrid savings. If you are someone who, even though you have that electronic savings account, you're still pulling from it and you still find yourself spending that money, like maybe you overdrafted your account, so you're like, oh, okay, it's fine, I'll just pull a little money out of my savings to cover it, but then that becomes habitual. So this would be a good option for you. This is what I used to do when I was younger, especially when I lived with my parents. This was always the route for me to go. I remember my first bank account. My mom had opened it on her account, but I had like a debit card and everything, and I had my own account. She could just transfer money into my account if she needed to. So I had this checking account, and then I had a savings account as well. So I had saved up about $600 in my savings and however much in my checking, and I didn't really have any bills or responsibilities at the time. So I really felt like I could buy whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted, no problem. And I wish that I hadn't had that mindset at such a young age. I wish I had saved more, and maybe now I would be in a better position than I'm in. Not that I'm in a bad position. I'm very thankful for everything I have. I have a roof over my head. I'm able to put food on the table, put gas in my car. I mean, I can live pretty comfortably. However, I do still have to watch what I spend, just because I want to be able to build savings and I want to be financially stable to the point of where I don't ever have to worry about money. So I just wish I hadn't had that mentality when I was younger, but I did. And I would spend money on the dumbest things ever just because it's what I wanted. I had money for it, and I had a bank account. I could buy it if I wanted to. So it got so bad to the point of where my mom literally told me I had a shopping problem. I had packages coming in like every other day from Amazon. It was a bit much now that I look back on it, but it made me so mad at the time that she was telling me that I had a shopping problem. I was like, Mom, it's my money. I got a job so I could buy what I want. Like, why are you judging me right now? So yeah, it like really upset me, and I was like, dang, do I have a shopping problem? And I definitely did have a shopping problem, but I didn't realize it at the time. I didn't realize I was a shopaholic at the time. But I literally was just spending all my money, and it got so bad to the point of where I had totally drained my savings account. And then after I had drained my savings account, I had a negative bank account like literally almost every single day. And they were hitting me with so many fees. And this is where my debt started. They were hitting me with so many fees that my account got to like negative $500 at some point. And it wasn't, I had overdrafted by like $5, but I hadn't been making enough to put in to get it back positive fast enough. And they were just kept throwing fees. And it was getting more fees than I could afford to pay. And so at one point, my account got to like a negative $500, and my mom, bless her heart, paid that for me and closed my bank account. And that's when I realized, like, holy shit, I have a problem. Like, that really, like, that's what started my debt. And luckily, she paid that debt for me, and she closed my bank account, and you know, it was what it was. And after that, I was old enough, I had turned 18, so I could open my own bank account. So I went and I did that. I opened up a new bank account under me. my own information and everything. I didn't have her attached at all because I didn't want her to see me spending money. So I made my own bank account and I messed up again. I was basically getting like payday loans and all this, and I was just messing up a lot. So it wasn't till the point of when I got a little bit older and I had had my own bank account for a little while, but I'm getting a little off track. So what I would do when I was younger and I had opened that bank account for myself is I would deposit my check into that bank account, and depending on how much it was and how much I felt like I wanted to put in my savings, I would go to the ATM right after I deposited that check and I would pull out the amount of money that I felt like I could afford to put in my savings, and I would put it in an envelope in my room in my nightstand, and I would leave it there. And I would only touch that envelope when I was putting more money into it. It didn't matter if I was putting away $1. It didn't matter if I was putting away $5. I told myself every single paycheck I'm putting away at least $1. And the more I got paid, the more I would put away. It really just depended on how much I was making at the time. So this is a good method for someone who swipes their debit card all the time, still dips into their savings account digitally, and just honestly is just bad with money and doesn't have good self-control. This taught me self-control. This helped me save so much money. I was actually able to go and buy a DSLR. I don't know where it is now, but I could really use it to record my YouTube videos. Would be nice. But anyways, I had saved up like $600 or $700 and I bought that DSLR camera with the money that I had saved up. So basically what I'm saying for a hybrid savings account would be to still have your bank account, deposit all your checks and everything into that bank account, but then pull out the amount of cash that you feel like you want to put in savings, put it away somewhere in your house, and do not touch it. Don't touch it. Don't touch it. Don't touch it. Don't bring it with you to the store. Don't bring it out with you. Don't even think about it. The only time you need to touch it is when you are adding money. If you go to the store and you leave that cash at home, you can't spend it. You don't have an option. You would have to turn around, go back home, get that money, and then go back to the store. Who wants to do that? You don't. Tell yourself you don't. Tell yourself you'll only spend what's in your bank account. You're not touching that cash. And that is how I learned to actually start saving money and have some self-control. So that is it for today's video, you guys. I know I got on a little bit of a rambling spree and I do apologize, but I hope that one of these topics gave you an idea of how to start saving money, or maybe an idea of a system that you can build that will work for you. So these were just 3 ideas that I have tried, and all 3 have worked for me throughout different periods of my life and being in different financial situations. But like I said, right now I'm on digital savings just because of the way that my income is at the moment. It's all electronic, so I just find it easier for me. However, when I do get cash, I still implement my hybrid method and I put that cash away. And so I do have a little bit of cash saved up, not much because I don't get much cash. But when I do, I just go ahead and put it away. So yeah, so I hope that this inspired you guys to start saving money and have a little self-control. And if you guys enjoyed this video, leave a comment down below so I know that you guys are enjoying the finance side of my channel, and I will see you guys in my next video. Peace out.